The time has come, the wait is over. Football at its best, Premier League is back.
Millions watching, managers, players, referees, bad decisions, controversial takes. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man U, Newcastle, who are the dark horse for the 2025-26 season. The Premier League starts now.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video is my Premier League predictions. Game week 1 2025-26 campaign season is starting off this weekend, and well, I'm back again on your screens. I'm going to take you through from game week 1 to game 38. Each game week I'll be back on your screens with my prediction videos. My name is Andy Finer. If you're new here, please kindly subscribe to this channel, like this video and comment your thoughts. Which of these games are you most interested in? I know in this first game week we have Manchester United meeting Arsenal, we have Chelsea playing Crystal Palace, and we have Liverpool also starting off with AFC Bournemouth. I know this weekend is going to be an interesting weekend. Looking at the transfer window, Liverpool have made huge statement with their signings. Chelsea too have done some good business, and Manchester United, oh my god, despite them finishing 15th last season, they've brought in key players, quality players like Matheus Cunha, Brighton, all these top stars to come help them this season. So well, without saying so much, I want us to get started with my Premier League predictions for game week 1. Oh well, starting off the Premier League 2025-26 campaign season is starting off from nowhere than Anfield, and going to Anfield on Friday, Liverpool is taking on AFC Bournemouth. This is the first game in the 2025-26 campaign season, and Liverpool starting this game at Anfield. Let's talk about Liverpool. So far, Liverpool have had one of the most interesting summer. They've signed so many players with the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Hugo TK. I mean, into this new season, despite last season Liverpool winning the league, they didn't sleep in the transfer window, and they've made huge statement with their signing. So going into this game at Anfield against no one than AFC Bournemouth, a team who last season also finished 9th on the league table. I think this is going to be an interesting opening game in the first game week 1. So going to this game, let's talk about Mohamed Salah. Last season, Mohamed Salah was the top scorer in the Premier League for 2024-25 campaign season. And we're going to this 2025-26 campaign season. We all know Mo Salah for the past 5 consecutive seasons. Always he scores in the opening fixture of the season, and well, can he do it again? Going to this game at Anfield, it's interesting to know, or it's interesting to say that with the kind of signings and the kind of team that Liverpool have built, despite the last 5 games, they've managed to win 3, lose 1 and drew 1. The last game that they drew against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield final, they played 2-2 at Wembley and went on penalties, and Crystal Palace won that game on penalties against Liverpool. So Liverpool starting off the season at Anfield facing no other than AFC Bournemouth is going to be an interesting game. Going into this game, what do I think will be the scoreline? Let's talk about their key player, Justin Kluivert, who last season was their best player. I think he's still on injury, and so far in their preseason games, he didn't partake in their preseason games. So going into this first game, I'm not sure Justin Kluivert is going to play, but well, they have Ghanaian international Antoine Semenyo, and I think he is now their star man or their poster boy in their squad right now. And going into this game at Anfield, do I think AFC Bournemouth can surprise Liverpool? Well, I don't think so, because I watched them against some of the top Premier League side in their preseason. They lost 4-1 against Manchester United, lost 2-0 against WESTHAM United, and I don't think they have the quality enough to face this Liverpool team. So going into this game at Anfield in game week 1, I'm predicting Liverpool to get their first victory in the 2025-26 campaign season. I'm predicting this game to end in 3-0 in favor of Liverpool. Liverpool 3, AFC Bournemouth 0. To Villa Park, and it's no other than Aston Villa versus Newcastle United. This game in the opening fixture is an interesting game because last season Aston Villa managed to finish 6th on the Premier League table, and Newcastle United got the 5th position. So it's between 6th and 5th. And going into this game in the opening fixture is interesting. Let's talk about Aston Villa. Aston Villa in their preseason games, they played 5 games in the preseason, and they got 3 wins and they lost 1 and they drew 1. So I think they had a very good or okay preseason. Talking about the results in the preseason, they got 2-0 victory against Villarreal, a very good Spanish side. They got 2-0 victory against Villarreal. They start linking Alexander Isak a move to Liverpool. I mean, there has been like a crisis in this Newcastle team, and I don't think it's a very good place to be for Alexander Isak going to this new season, knowing that he wanted to move to Liverpool and he's still there. I think going to this fixture, talking about Newcastle United, they also played 5 games in their preseason. They lost 2-0 against Atletico Madrid. They got a 2-2 draw against Espanyol. They got a 1-1 draw against Tottenham Hotspur, and well, I mean, they lost 3-2 against Aston in their preseason game. So I think with Newcastle United, they had a very tough preseason. Well, despite they couldn't even get a single victory in their preseason games, and I do think the results could be. I mean, Aston Villa going to this game, I mean, they are going to make a statement that this season they are still going to make their possible best to be in the top 4 or top 5 race. So I think I'm predicting a narrow victory for Aston Villa in this game against Newcastle. My prediction is a 2-1 victory for Aston Villa. Aston Villa 2, Newcastle United 1. Next game is between Brighton versus Fulham. So far, this is one of the most interesting games going to this opening fixture. Talking about Brighton, they've played 5 games in their preseason, and these were the results that they got. They got 2-1 against Wolfsburg, and they got 2-0 against Wolfsburg. So they played 2 or double-headed games against Wolfsburg, and they got 2 wins out of 2. They played 2-2 against Southampton, which is a championship team because they just got relegated into the championship. And they got 2-0 against Las Palmas, which I think too is a very good side. And they got a 3-1 victory over Stoke 2. So I think Brighton has had a very good preseason, despite they just got only 1 draw out of 5, and they got 4 victories in their preseason games. Talking about Fulham in their preseason, Fulham also got a 1-0 victory over Eintracht Frankfurt, and they got 4-2 victory over Al Ittihad, and they got a 3-1 victory over Nottingham Forest. So far, Fulham played only 3 preseason games, and so far they got 3 out of 3. So I think they are going to this game with a very good record. So what do I think is going to happen in this game? And Brighton, with the transfer that happened, Brighton lost one of their key player for them last season, who is in the person of Joao Pedro that they lost to Chelsea. I think he's going to play a key factor in this game, and I think Fulham too, they are going to start this season well, because last season they finished 11th on the league table and Brighton finished 10th on the league table. So going into this game, it's an interesting and a very close game to call. Do I think this game is going to end in favor of any of these teams? Maybe. I'm predicting Fulham to get a narrow victory over Brighton. I'm predicting this game to end in 1-0 victory for Fulham. Fulham 1, Brighton 0. Yes, moving on to the next game is no other than Sunderland versus West Ham United. A new promoted side, Sunderland, will face a team who really last season struggled and they got 14th position in the Premier League in the 2024-25 campaign season. So how is this going to pan out in this first game week? Let's talk about their preseason games. So far, looking at Sunderland in their preseason games, they played against Real Vallecano and they lost 3-0 against Real Vallecano. And they got a 1-0 victory over Uzbek. So 5 games that they've played, they managed to get only 1 out of 5. So I don't think Sunderland has a good record going into this game against a West Ham team who last season really struggled. Let's talk about West Ham United. West Ham United in their last 5 games in the preseason, they've also managed to get 3 wins and 1 loss and 1 draw. Two teams going to head in this opening fixture. Sunderland, this is their opening game in the 2025-26 campaign season. How are things going to pan out for them? New promoted side against a mid-table side like West Ham United. I will not be shocked if this game ends in favor of West Ham United. Do I think Sunderland can shock them? Well, no, because they have not been good in their preseason game, so I can't give them any advantage over West Ham United. I'm predicting West Ham United to get a 2-0 victory over Sunderland in this opening fixture. West Ham United 2, Sunderland 0. Moving on to the next game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is no other than Tottenham versus Burnley. Tottenham Hotspur last season finished 17th on the Premier League table, going into this game against a Burnley side who just got promoted into the Premier League. So I think this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, Tottenham Hotspur, despite them finishing 17th last season, they won the Europa League, and this season they are going to play in the UEFA Champions League. And with the reinforcement that they've done, let's talk about their new head coach, Thomas Frank. Despite Thomas Frank last season was brilliant at Brentford, and looking at the signings that they brought in with the likes of Mohamed Kudus, I think they've done a very good business. Let's talk about their preseason games. So far, they've played 5 games in their preseason. They've managed to get only 1 win, and they drew 3. They lost only 1, and the one that they lost was against a very huge opponent, which was Bayern Munich. Tottenham Hotspur lost 4-0 against Bayern Munich. They played 1-1 against Newcastle United. They got 1-0 victory against Aston, and Luton Town to play 0-0 against Luton Town. And I mean, I think Tottenham Hotspur with their preseason games, it wasn't that bad because we had a very okay preseason. And going to this game, let's talk about Burnley. Burnley, in their last 5 games from the preseason games, I mean, Burnley were able to get only 1 victory. They drew 1 and they lost 3 of their preseason games. So I don't think they've had a very good preseason. And looking at the teams that they faced, they lost 1-0 against Lazio. Stoke also beat Burnley by 1-0. This is how their preseason went. It wasn't anything impressive to talk about. Do I think Burnley can surprise Tottenham in their opening fixture? Hell no. I mean, I think Burnley, with the quality that they have, the players that they have, and going into this new season, Tottenham have done a very good or very brilliant, they've had a very brilliant summer transfer. And I think going into this game, Thomas Frank is going to make a statement. I'm predicting Tottenham Hotspur to get a 3-0 victory against Burnley in their opening game in the 2025-26 campaign season. Yes, moving on to the next game is between Wolves versus Manchester City. Last season, Wolves finished 16th on the Premier League table, and Manchester City also got 3rd position on the Premier League table. Going into this game in an opening fixture, Manchester City going away. Let's talk about their preseason games. I mean, Wolves played 5 games in the preseason, and still they couldn't even manage to get even 1 win out of any of the 5 games. They lost 3 and drew 2. About Manchester City didn't have, let me say, they didn't have preseason. What they were playing was in the, they played in the Club World Cup, and so some of these games that I'm going to talk about are the results they got from the Club World Cup. So I'm considering it to be how their preseason went. We got 3-1 against Palermo, which I think it was a friendly game that they played against Palermo. They lost 4-3 against Al Hilal in the Club World Cup. That was when they got eliminated. They beat Juventus by 5-2. They beat Al Ain by 6-0, and with that too, they got 2-0. So looking at their last 5 games, they got 4 victories and lost only 1 game, which was against Al Hilal. Do I think Wolves can surprise Manchester City going into this game? And looking at Manchester City this season, I mean, people are not giving them a shot that they can go ahead and win the Premier League because last season they struggled, and now Rodri is coming back from injury. Last season they put everything on Rodri's injury. People were saying because Rodri got injured, that was why City couldn't challenge for the Premier League. But no doubt now Rodri is back. They've done new signings, they brought new players, so Pep Guardiola can go ahead and win the 2025-26 Premier League season. How do I think Manchester City is going to start, or what is my score prediction going into this game against Wolves? I'm predicting Manchester City to get their first statement win in the Premier League 2025-26 campaign season. I'm predicting Manchester City to get a 4-1 victory against Wolves. Manchester City 4, Wolves 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at City Ground is no other than Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. I think Nottingham Forest last season had a very good season. They finished 7th on the Premier League table, and I think I wasn't shocked with their position because last season they really played well. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest preseason. So far they played so many games in their preseason, and well, still they couldn't manage to get a single win in their preseason games. This were the results they got in their preseason game. They got 0-0 against Al Kashih. They played 0-0 against Fiorentina. They lost 1-0 against Birmingham and lost 3-1 against Fulham. So I don't think Nottingham Forest in their preseason game did well. But well, let's talk about Brentford. Brentford in their preseason game, they played 5 games in their last 5 games. These were the results. They got 2-2 draw against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Out, they got 1-0 victory against QPR, and well, the rest of the game they got 1-1 draw, 1-1 draw against Wolves, 3-2 lost against Fulham. So these have been their last 5 games. Let's talk about Brentford very well. Brentford this season, I'm not expecting so many things from them because looking at the summer transfer, they lost their coach, they lost some of their key signings like Bournemouth. Even Wissa right now is on his way leaving Brentford, and I don't think, and even their main captain, not Gabby, he has also left to join Arsenal. So this season, I don't have huge expectations for Brentford. So going to this game at the City Ground to face a team who last season did very well on the Premier League table, I think this is an interesting game going to this opening fixture. What do I think the scoreline could be? Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. Nottingham Forest in the transfer market, well, they lost one of their key players last season in the person of Anthony Elanga, who last season did well. But well, they brought in a very good striker, Hugo Jesus. This guy, I'm watching in the Club World Cup for Botafogo, and well, he was astonishing, he was superb. So I think he's going to help Nottingham Forest this season. What is my score prediction? I'm predicting Nottingham Forest to get their first victory in this opening game. My scoreline is Nottingham Forest 2, Brentford 1. Yes, moving on to the next game at Stamford Bridge is between Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. This is a London derby, and well, you know, Chelsea going to this game, they've won their last 5 games in all competition. That's why Chelsea didn't have a very enough time to play preseason games. They only played 2 preseason games, which they play against Bayer Leverkusen and they play against AC Milan. They got 2-0 against Leverkusen and 4-1 against AC Milan. And talking about Crystal Palace too, they had a very good preseason. In their preseason games, they managed to get 2 victories, 1 draw and 2 losses. And well, their last game that they played was against Liverpool in the Community Shield, and I think they played a very good game. They were able to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool with all the signings that Liverpool done this season. Still, Crystal Palace were able to hold them to a 2-2 draw, and they went ahead to win that game on penalties, and they lifted the Community Shield trophy for the first time in their history. So I think this is going to be an interesting team, a very good team which is on form against a very good team who just won trophy a week ago. So I think this is going to be a very dicey game. Do I think Chelsea have the quality getting over the line? Oh yes. Looking at Chelsea, this carrying Chelsea team, the only team that I think right now they can go toe-to-toe with Chelsea is no other than Barcelona, because with the kind of model they are playing right now, I don't think this many teams like Crystal Palace, Brentford and Nottingham Forest, they can stand the kind of intensity, the kind of flair, the kind of tenacity, the link-up play. Let's talk about Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer didn't just win the best player in the Club World Cup for just being Cole Palmer. He showed his quality against PSG, scoring 2 goals and even assisting Joao Pedro's goal. To me, I think Joao Pedro too is so far the best signings in this summer transfer. That's why Chelsea got him on just 60 million. I don't think Chelsea got a bargain with that one, because he's just a phenomenal. He's a player. Look, he has even scored 5 goals in his last 4 games. For Chelsea, 4 consecutive games, 5 goals. I think Chelsea has a very good team, and you know Crystal Palace too. They just got to draw and they went ahead to win the Community Shield. So I think Crystal Palace too has a very good team. Going into this game at Stamford Bridge, I don't think Crystal Palace can stand the heat. So I'm predicting this game to end in favor of Chelsea. I'm predicting Chelsea to get a 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace. Chelsea to Crystal Palace 0. But on to the game of the week in Premier League. Game week 1 is no other than Manchester United versus Arsenal. This is the opening fixture for Man United in this 2025-26 campaign season, and it's interesting with the kind of signings Manchester United having their dream team right now. I think it's going to be tough for Arsenal at Old Trafford. Let's see what will happen. Looking at Manchester United pre-season, they've played multiple of games and they were able to get 3 wins and 2 draws. They didn't lose any of their pre-season games, and even they won a trophy by winning the summer series. I think it's a very good sign that United is going to have a very good season. Talking about Arsenal, to Arsenal in their pre-season, they also played 5 games. They got 3 wins and they lost 2. And, I mean, it's interesting. They lost against Tottenham Hotspur, which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And I mean, Arsenal have had a very good pre-season with the signings that they did. Bring in Victor Gyökeres, the mixing piece of the puzzle. I think Arsenal too has a set team going into this season. They brought in players who are going to be backups, with the likes of Ronnie Maguire going to be a backup to Bukayo Saka. I think he's a perfect player, and even Nordgaard, Brentford's captain that they brought in place of Thomas Partey. And they have Martin Zubimendi. I mean, I think this Arsenal team too is very set going into this preseason. In their last going to this game against Man United, in their last preseason game, they were able to get a 3-0 statement. I mean, let me tell you, Arsenal are ready to come to face United, and I think Arsenal is a very solid side. Going into this game, what do I think is going to happen? Well, nothing is going to happen. Let me tell you. This is a tough game. Arsenal facing United at Old Trafford is not just a mere game to just score. I think this game is going to be very tough, but I'm predicting a high-scoring draw. I'm predicting this game to end in a 2-2 draw. Manchester United 2, Arsenal 2. I will not be sure if any of this side can snatch a win, but my prediction is a draw. Moving on to the last game in game week 1 is between Leeds United versus Everton. Leeds United is a new promoted side from the Championship, and this is going to be their opening fixture against Everton on Monday. And I mean, let's talk about Leeds United. In their last 5 games, they managed to get 2 wins and 3 draws. And talking about Everton too, in their last 5 games, they've lost 4 and they got only 1 draw. So I don't think Everton has had a very good pre-season, but well, you know, Everton is a traditional Premier League team, and Leeds United, a new promoted side, so I will not be surprised if something happened in this game. But well, do I think Leeds United can surprise Everton? Well, probably yes, because Leeds United, I watched them in their pre-season game against Manchester United. Despite that game ending in a 0-0 draw, but I think Leeds United was the best side, even against the top 6 club like Manchester United. And Leeds United was able to go 4-4 despite the missed couple of chances. So I think Leeds United have a very solid team going into this season. And even my predictions that I did for the entire season, I gave them a very solid position on the league table. So my prediction for this game, I'm predicting Leeds United to get a 2-1 victory over Everton. Leeds United to Everton 1. Yeah, so these are my predictions for Premier League game week 1. My name is Andy Finer. If you're new here, subscribe to this video, like this video, and help me with the like. Even if you can't watch this video from the start to end, just like this video and it will help the algorithm to push my video to more people. So please, I beg you, like this video and subscribe to and help me grow. Till we meet in another game week. Bye bye for now.